Good day. So, for our discussion, we have here the topic man versus machine. So, we already have discussed ano ba yung mga magagandang bagay na naidulot sa atin ng machines, di ba? Yung mga naging komportable yung pamumuhay natin. But on this one, as the title suggests, it's a competition. So doon naman tayo sa medyo negative aspect kung pag-uusapan natin is yung epekto ng machines or yung technology itself into our lives. That's also one of the focuses ng discussion natin sa STS. So let's start with yung difference muna ng man sa machine. So doon muna tayo sa man. Ano nga ba yung mga characteristics and qualities ng tao para masabing tao ito? Sabi nga, humans are created of flesh and blood. It has life. May buhay daw ang tao. Alam kong familiar naman tayo doon kasi lahat naman tayo tao, di ba? Lahat tayo buhay unless namatay ka na, di ba? And lahat ng tao may dugo at may laman. Humans have emotions and feelings. Nakakaramdam tayo ng emosyon. Nagiging masaya tayo, nagiging malungkot tayo, napapagod tayo, di ba? Nakakaramdam tayo ng exhaustion. Wherein with machines, wala naman silang ganoon, di ba? Humans can learn, grasp, and understand the concept of various things, di ba? Kaya nga, this is very evident sa mga tao. Kaya nga tayo nag-aaral eh. Para matutunan ang mga bagay-bagay. So like for example, like you guys, if you're in the field of chemistry, pinag-aaralan natin yung mga komposisyon ng chemicals para maging aware tayo dito at maintindihan natin to. Or kaya naman, if you're in the field of broadcasting, di ba, pinag-aaralan natin yung ways, like for example, on how to conduct interview, kasi it's vital when it comes to our careers na tatahakin. Diba? So, humans are creative and imaginative. Sabi nga, humans are very well-known curious. Kasi nga, as a saying goes, curiosity kills the cat, diba? Na isang hayon sa pinaka well-known for us kasi nga hindi nga daw tayo magiging advanced yung knowledges kung hindi dahil sa creativity and imaginations na meron tayo. Sabi nga from simple sketches lang like for example ni Leonardo da Vinci regarding airplanes, eh nakapag-produce din naman tayo nito ngayon. So looking back during the Renaissance era, wala pa naman talagang eroplano. Pero now, yung mga drawings na meron sila no, nagkakatotoo na. So possible yung mga creations or imaginations natin now ay in the near future ay maging totoo na. Sabi nga, humans are curious to discover and multi-talented. They have many diverse abilities in several things, such as language, pattern recognition, and creative thinking. This is very true. Kasi nga, if you can still remember your discussion before in Math in the Modern World, isa sa mga unang topics doon is yung pattern. Uh, People or human beings are able to understand or grasp knowledge, especially with the help of pattern. 'Di ba? So, like for example, nung bata kayo, most likely memorize kayo ng multiplication table, 'di ba? You're able to see there na may pattern na sinusunod 'yon para mas mabilis mo siyang matandaan. And sabi nga, humans have that ability. Kaya daw po natin makapag-recognize ng patterns. Well, kung ito yung mga qualities na meron ng isang tao, ano naman daw yung mga qualities na meron yung machines? Sabi nga natin, machines can work with their mechanical brain which is programmed by humans. So mula nga sa creations natin, mga tao, ay yung mga programs na sinusunod ng mga machines. They do not have the capability of understanding. Akala natin naiintindihan tayo ng mga machines, but then again, ito lang kasi yung mga, kung ano lang yung na-program sa kanila, yun lang yung kaya nilang gawin. They operated and guided by humans. Without humans, sabi nga natin, hindi naman tayo magkakaroon ng mga machines. They have the speed and accuracy in doing work, and it needs program to operate as it doesn't have emotional intelligence. Again, based lagi sa programs. Especially now in our times, na puro computer ang kaharap natin madalas. Puro base yan sa program. At yung mga programs na yun ay gawa ng tao. Sabi nga, ang isa sa mga key difference ng machines sa human beings is yung speed and accuracy. Kasi kahit pa, kumbaga, kung papansinin na lang natin, like for example, doon sa mga gumagawa ng tawag dito, gumagawa ng espasol. I can still remember one of the research project na ginawa ng mga kasamahan ko way back in engineering is to create sila ng espasol making machine na kung saan nakita doon na mas mabilis mag-produce ng espasol yung machine compared dun sa mga tao. So ito talaga yung isa sa mga malaking difference ng machine sa tao. So to fully grasp when we're talking about man versus machine, let's have a discussion first nung tinatawag nating Industrial Revolution. Ano ba yung Industrial Revolution? Sabi nga, the Industrial Revolution was a period of scientific and technological development in the 18th century that transformed largely rural, agrarian societies, especially in Europe and North America, into industrialized urban ones. Goods that had once been painstakingly crafted by hand started to be produced in mass quantities by machines in factories. Thanks to the introduction of new machines and techniques in textile, iron makings, and other industries. So sabi nga natin, when we're talking about industrial revolution, so from the namesake itself, industrial, so tungkol sa industry, and revolution, yung pagbabago. Change, di ba? Kapag sinasabi natin revolution. So sabi nga, on this time, in 18th century, specifically largely affected naman talaga ay yung mga Western countries tulad ng European countries and North America na kung saan makikita daw natin yung changes in productions sa kanilang lugar. Isa sa mga naging na site nga dito is yung sa textile and iron making. Na kung dati, mano-mano nga siyang ginagawa ng kamay, dahil nga sa creation ng mga machines, mas napabilis yung pag-produce ng products natin. So sabi natin, yung Industrial Revolution, it has four parts or apat na nga daw po yung Industrial Revolution natin. So the first one is happened in 1765. Sabi nga, it started at the end of the 18th century to the beginning of the 19th century. The biggest change came in the industry in the form of mechanization. At the time, people witnessed massive coal extraction along with the significant invention of the steam engine that created a new type of energy that later helped speed up railroad manufacturing, thus accelerating the economy. So, sabi natin, dun sa first industrial revolution, dito nga daw po nabuo talaga yung tinatawag nating mechanization sa mga industries natin ngayon. So, yung pag-utilize natin ng machine para mas mapabilis natin yung trabahong ginagawa natin. Especially, the steam engine nga daw na nabanggit dito is vital wherein mas napabilis like for example in transportation and railroad manufacturing. Malaki talaga yung naging aspect niya kasi nga dahil na we are able to figure out yung purpose ng coal na kung saan ito nga ang mga uling na ito yung ginagamit natin para mas speed up natin yung processes. Part of it, sabi nga, British textile businesses or business was a true cottage industry, with the work performed in small workshops or even homes by individual spinners, weavers, and dyers. Starting in the mid 18th century, innovations like the spinning jenny, which is a wooden frame with multiple spindles, the flying shuttle, water frame, and the power loom made weaving cloth and spinning yarn and thread much easier. Producing cloth became faster and required less time and far less human labor. So sabi nga, in the first industrial revolution, dito daw po natin makita talaga yung paradigm shift, na pagbabago talaga, na kung saan from the traditional na cottage industry. Pag sinabi kasi natin cottage industry, ito yung doon sa mga bahay-bahay lang nagagawa or nagpo-produce ng products sa mga tao. Specifically, ang tinutukoy dito is mga cloth, damit, no? Mga hinabing damit. Pero dahil nga daw po sa pagkakaimbenta ng mga spinners, weavers, mas napabilis yung production at kung saan mas less na yung focus sa tao when it comes to labor. Kumbaga, mas focus na yung labor sa machine. Hindi na kailangan masyado ng tao, mas machine na yung ginagawa. Now, in second industrial revolution, this happened in 1870. Sabi nga, it started at the end of the 19th century with massive technological advancement in the industries that helped the emergence of new source of energy, electricity, gas, and oil. So, ito talaga yung pinaka-focus doon sa second industrial revolution. Yung pagkakaroon natin ng iba pang energy source. Kasi nung sa first, nakafocus lang tayo doon sa coal or yung uling nga. No? Pero during this time naman, nakapag-produce na nga daw po tayo ng gas, oil, as well as electricity. So alam naman natin yun kasi like for example, yung electricity until now, gamit na gamit natin sa 'di ba? This is very helpful for us. Like for example na lang sa mga makinang ginagamit natin, 'di ba? Like for example, yung electric sewing machine, 'di ba? May ganon, 'di ba? So, imbes na titipain mo siya ng mano-mano, isasasak mo lang siya sa kuryente. Tuloy-tuloy na yung paggana ng makina. Also, we have oil like and gas, which is very evident sa mga sasakyan natin ngayon. Ito yung mga sources ng energy na ginagamit natin. Sabi din, in the second industrial revolution resulted in the creation of the internal combustion engine, yung mga sasakyan nga na binanggit ko kanina, which started to reach its full potential. Other important points of the second industrial revolution were the development of steel demand, chemical synthesis, and the methods of communication, such as the telegraph and the telephone. The inventions of automobile and plane at the beginning of the 20th century. So, sabi nga, this time, hindi na lang doon sa traditional na coal yung ginagamit natin. Meron na tayong electricity, gas and oil para patakbuhin yung mga makinang meron tayo. In the third industrial revolution, this happened in 1969. Sabi nga, this is the birth of electronics naman. Na kung saan, sabi, the third industrial revolution opened the doors to space expeditions, research, and biotechnology through new technologies. In the world of industries, two major inventions, which is the PLC or programmable logic controllers and robots, helped give rise to an era of high-level automation. So sabi nga natin, dito na po nagsimula or in the third industrial revolution, dito na nagsimula yung pag-utilize natin ng mga electronic materials. So nagkakaroon na tayo dito ng mga, for example, devices like computers, 'di ba? And sabi nga, mas napapabilis lalo yung trabaho because of this. And now we have the fourth industrial revolution. This happened in 2016. Sabi nga, for many people, we call it almost like Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution. Sabi nga, Industry 4.0 started at the dawn of the third millennium with the one thing everyone uses every day, which is the internet. This is heavily based on the internet. You can see the transition from the first industrial revolution rooted in technological phenomena to Industry 4.0, which developed virtual reality worlds allowing us to bend the laws of physics. Diba? I believe all of us are very exposed with the internet, especially nga sa alterations natin with AI. Sabi nga, I remember this conversation I had with my younger brother na i-chat GPT niya na lang daw para mas mabilis makuha yung mga sagot. Kasi nga, sabi nga natin, with the help of artificial intelligence, which is rooted in the utilization of the internet, eh mas napapabilis lalo yung gawa. So, these are the industrial revolutions na masasabi nga daw po natin na malaki yung aspeto. And sabi din, the fourth industrial revolution shaped the world. Worldwide economies are based on them. Programs and projects are being implemented worldwide, focusing on helping people take advantage of the marvels of the fourth revolution during their everyday lives. So, ako very evident sa atin yung ako personally naniniwala yon na evident sa atin yung impact ng fourth industrial revolution na kung saan halos lahat accessible na because of the internet. So, to have the discussion regarding the man versus machine, let's have here an article written by Larry Boyer in 2018 entitled The Latest Chapter is Just Starting. Sabi nga daw po, machines were created by human being para maging katuang natin sa paggagawa ng bagay-bagay. Or sabi nga, to help us to do things easier as well as for human survivability. Totoo naman yun, di ba? Kung iisipin nga natin, we created, for example na lang, yung sibat. Bakit nga ba ginawa yung sibat ng mga tao? Yung spear, di ba? Ginawa siya ng yung sibat during Stone Age para mas mabilis yung pangangaso ng mga tao. So, it's really for our survivability kasi nga, kapag wala tayong makain, mamatay tayo. It's very evident. And sabi nga, it's foreshadowed in a story titled Icarus and Daedalus. So this is a Greek mythology wherein Icarus and Daedalus are father and son duo. No? So natrap sila sa isang tower wherein onto that tower, wala silang means na makaalis. Parang ang pinaka viable option lang nila is tumalon mula doon sa tore. Eh, syempre, pag tumalon ka doon sa tore, mamatay ka. So, since Daedalus is a thinker, so craftsman siya, kaya na makapag-create ng mga equipment gamit yung glue as well as yung mga feathers na nahulog mula doon sa ibon. So, mga ibon doon sa lugar, nakapag-create siya ng pakpak. So, ginamit nila yung dalawang mag-ama para makatakas doon sa tore. So, after nilang makatakas doon sa tore, yung anak, which is Icarus, goes too near to the sun. Unfortunately, dahil nga masyado siyang malapit doon sa araw, ay natunaw yung blue. So, nasira yung pakpak na, nahulog siya, namatay siya. So, sabi nga, it foreshadows yung negative impact din nung paggamit natin ng mga machines na kung saan kapag sobra-sobra yung paggamit natin dito, it could lead into a negative implications in our life. So, isa sa mga points na nabanggit doon ni Larry Boyer is yung man versus machine in the industrial age. So, this happened between the first industrial revolution. No? Sabi nga, in the late 1700s, machines were no longer simply helping people achieve more, but also were now displacing a great many workers. This new relationship between people and technology creating or created economic hardships for the working class. This is very evident na kumaga hindi na lang para simpleng mapabilis yung trabaho, talagang nire-replace ng machine yung trabaho na ginagawa ng mga tao. So nagsimula nga talaga ito ng first industrial revolution. Sabi nga, tulad na nabanggit kanina, yung mga cottage industry, isipin mo na lang yung mga parang tulad ng mga mananahi. Dati kasi, yung mga mananahi, kanya-kanyang bahay lang sila, tapos mano-mano sila nagtatahi. Pero with the creations ng mga machines nga daw po, tulad ng mga babanggit dito, ng spinning jenny, which is invented by James Hargreaves in 1764, water frame by Richard Arkwright in 1769, spinning mule by Samuel Compton in 1779, and the power loom by Edmund Cartwright in 1785, mas napabilis yung production. Kung isipin mo nga lang daw, siguro nga daw, katulad ng binigay ditong example, a single spinning wheel machine could have 1,320 spindles compared to a single spindle on a wooden spinning wheel. So, kumbaga nga, grabe yung, or drastic yung change or yung production na nabibigay because of this machines. Na kung isipin mo, because kung ihahalin tulad natin or ilolocalize natin, dahil nga nagkaroon na tayo ng mga sewing machines or electric sewing machines, mas napabilis na tayo sa pagtatahi dun sa localized version. Kumbaga, dati mano-mano lang, di ba? Pero dahil nga meron na tayo mga machines, mas pabilis na yung gawain. Wherein because of that, hindi mo na masyadong kailangan ng madaming tao. Kasi nga, kaya na siyang gawin ng mga makina. And because of that, nagkaroon nga daw tayo ng tinatawag nating Luddites Rebellion. This happened during the 1811 and 1813. This is inspired by Ned Ludd, which is a known craftsman na kung saan hinampas na nga daw yung stocking frame na kung saan, syempre, by the laws of uh, three laws of motion, sabi nga yung third law, which is the law of interaction, for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. So sa sobrang lakas ng paghampas niya doon sa stocking frame, bumalik sa kanya yung pwersa at kinamatay niya ito in 1779. Because of this, nagkaroon ng clamor yung mga tao na kung saan mas nakikita nila na hindi na yung as craftsmanship ng mga craftsmen or ng mga thinker yung pinahahalagahan, kundi yung mga machines na. So because of that, nagkaroon nga daw po ng Luddites Rebellion. Na until now, ginagamit pa rin natin yung term na Luddites. Na kung saan, ang ibig sabihin nga nito, it's a blanket term used to describe people who dislike new technology. So this rebellion of Luddites sparked in these places. No? So we have Nottinghamshire, Yorkshire, and Lancashire in England. So dahil nga sa mga concerns ng mga craftsmen na hindi na sila yung binibigyan ng importansya, eh, nagkaroon sila ng rebellion kung saan sinisira din talaga nila yung mga machines. Because of that, uh, tinake yon ng British Parliament na capital offense. Talagang malaking parusa ang ipapataw sa iyo kapag nanira ka ng machine. Na until now, di ba, uh, once you'll be working, marirealize niyo na pag nakasira kayo ng makina, babayaran niyo. Kayo ang magbabayad doon. Kaya nga, parang tulad na lang, di ba, sa school, di ba? Pag nasira mo yung TV na ginagamit natin sa ACAD building, papalitan mo yun kasi ikaw yung nakasira. So, ganon yung binibigay nating importansya sa mga machines na meron tayo ngayon. Pero, ang pinaprotest kasi nga naman nila onto it is that, yes, nandun yung speed and accuracy. Pero, ang pinopoint out doon is yung expertise nung mga craftsmen ay hindi napapahalagahan. Kumbaga parang, naalala ko yung statement ng isa kong estudyante before na hindi matutumbasan ng 1,000 tattoo artist yung craft na ginagawa ni Apo Wang Od. Diba? Apo Wang Od is a very well-known tattoo artist here in the Philippines. Diba? Maglalatok ang tawag sa kanila. Pero kahit na may mga machines at high-end na yung ginagamit ng mga tattoo artists natin, iba pa din yung napoproduce niya tattoo. Kasi nga may significance ito as well as aesthetic unto it. So, yun yung sinasabi nila na wala naman yung mga machines. Pero, yung mga tao, meron. Another good story to pinpoint out is the legend of John Henry. So sabi nga, this has happened in late 1800s na kung saan John Henry is a still driven man na a driving man, sorry for that, still driving man na kung saan he works for CNO Railway. So, sabi nga, he's well known for laying rails for, or creation ng railroad para dun sa Amerikano. So sabi nga, he was able to drive a rail spike with a single swing of 20-pound hammer. So mabigat po yun. Pero sabi nga, easy peasy lang yun when it comes to Son Henry. So yung story niya ignited when one salesman ay nagdala nga daw po ng isang hammering machine na kung saan mas mabilis, ang kiniklaim, mas mabilis na makakapag create ito ng reels onto, or drills ito, nakakapag-drill ito compare kay John Henry or dun sa mga tao itself, hindi lang sa kanya. And sabi nga, nag-protest itong si John Henry onto it. And onto that, nagkaroon ng competition si John Henry laban doon sa machine. So as it turns out, sabi nga daw po, John Henry and machines worked tirelessly all day on drillings para dun sa reels na gagawin nila. And syempre, John Henry emerged as the winner. Pero dahil nga sa sobrang exhaustion niya, kinamatay niya yun. Na parang makikita natin doon na yung machine, magpahinga lang, okay na. Kinabukasan, kaya na ulit gawin yan. Pero yung tao, kailangan niya talaga ng enough, kumbaga, meron lang talagang limit yung works ng tao. Kasi kung hindi, katulad ni John Henry, mamamatay tayo. 'Di ba? So, nandun din yung aspect na kung saan hindi rin, is it really, tawag dito, is it really important na mas malakas or mas magaling ang tao when it comes to machine na kung saan kapag kung pagbabatayan naman natin, buhay naman natin yung magiging kapalit. Di ba? Parang hindi rin naman siya mag-make ng sense. So another part dun sa article ni Larry Boyer is yung man versus machine in the 20th century. Sabi nga, this is the time na meron na tayo mga computers and electronics. So kung dun sa industrial age pa lang, nagkakaroon na ng agawan sa trabaho yung mga tao at machines, mas lalo itong nag-ignite nung nagkaroon na tayo ng mga computers. Kasi makikita talaga natin dito yung pag-unti ng trabaho because of that. I can still remember one of the jobs na nawala is yung nagre-relay ng message. So, I forgot the term onto it is that before, when you're going to call someone, kapag hindi nasagot yon, matatransfer ka sa isang tao. So, yung taong yun, siya yung magsusulat ng letter mo or ng message mo para i-receive nung tinawagan mo talaga. Nowadays, wala na nun. Bakit? Kasi we already have yung tinatawag nating voicemail. Sa Pilipinas, walang voicemail, pero sa ibang bansa meron. Na kung saan yung voicemail na mismo magre-record ng boses mo para i-rely yung info or yung message mo dun sa receiver. So, because of that, nawala na yung trabaho yun. So, because of voicemail, nawala na yung trabaho yun. So, Cable Girls, if I'm not mistaken, is a series regarding those types of work. Nawala na yung for communication aspect kasi yun. So, kikita nga natin na because of the use of electronics and computers, ay talaga namang umuunti na yung trabahong allotted para sa tao. Fast forward another 20 years, and we see new developments in technology and creative ideas from science fiction. So, with the advent of personal computers, fiber optics, with and the internet, new opportunities abound for people with the right skills. At the same time, we also see several professionals or professions start to disappear. So, telephone operators Ayun pala yun, telephone operators and secretaries, for example. So Isaac Asimov imagines a society with servant robots governed by the three laws of robotics. Yun nga pala yun, telephone operators. I forgot kasi yung term. So telephone operators, yung nawalang trabaho because of nung mga voicemail na meron tayo. And hindi lang yan dun eh. Kahit nga lang yung dun sa yung secretaries before kasi nga 'di ba ang daming mga kailangan i-types but nowadays because of computers mas mabilis na siyang magawa. Now on the last part of the article written by Larry Boyer, it is a man versus machine today. Sabi now, hindi na lang basta-basta doon sa mga productivity yung pagtatagis ng machine at tao. Also, intellectual battles happens now because of the emergence of artificial intelligence. So sabi nga, madami na tayong AI na na-produce na kung saan natatalo na yung mga well-known, uh, for example, grandmasters na meron tayo because of algorithms. And sabi nga, very precise and yung processing or ng kanilang intellectual brain ay napakabilis. So natatalo na talaga yung mga tao. And sabi nga natin, with the emergence of artificial intelligence, makikidami na daw pong trabaho lalo ang nawawala. If you're not aware, one of the concerns or issues before ay I can still remember this one of uh, news presented is that papalitan na daw or magkakaroon na daw ng AI presenter or newscast or sportscaster, sorry for that, sportscaster para sa GMA7. I don't know if nag-pursue ito, pero yun kasi yung aspect doon eh, na parang papalitan na nila yung mga trabahong ginagawa ng mga tao. So like for example, yung doon sa mga actors, ginagawa ng mga AI as well as yung sa mga writers. So puro AIs na din lang. So this is very evident especially in Hollywood kaya nga nagkaroon sila ng mga strike doon eh, because of the issues with AI na inaalis na ng trabaho yung mga tao para doon sa mga machines na meron tayo ngayon. So, as an introductory, nabanggit ko na rather, yung AI. So, ano ba talaga yung AI? So, sabi nga, while several definitions of AI have surfaced over the last few decades, so John McCartney, sabi nga, siya yung unang nag-coin ng term na artificial intelligence. He provided a definition in 2004. So, according to him, it is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. It is related to the similar task of using computers to understand human intelligence. But AI does not have to confine itself to methods that are biologically observable. So kumbaga nga daw po, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung AI, hindi siya limited sa pangtao lang. Kumbaga nga, kaya niya na lumagpas pa dun sa mga kakayahan or boundaries ng isang tao. Pero sabi nga, it's an intellectual machine na kung saan kaya yung task na ginagawa ng mga computers, specifically following human intelligence. So in simplest form, sabi nga daw po, artificial intelligence is a field which combines computer science and robust data sets to enable problem solving. It also encompasses subfields of machine learning and deep learning, which are frequently mentioned in conjunction with artificial intelligence. These disciplines are comprised of AI algorithms that seek to create expert systems which make predictions or classifications based in input data. So as we can see, base nga lang dito na makita natin na ang purpose daw po pala talaga ng AI is to solve problems. 'Di ba? to solve problems. So, para nga naman nga daw po tulungan yung mga tao. But then again, madami nga tayo kasi na nagiging issues regarding AI nowadays. So, tingnan natin, ano ba yung history ng artificial intelligence? So, sabi nga, in 1950, dito talaga po daw nagkaroon ng start tayo ng AI. It started with Alan Turing, who published his work, The Computing Machinery and Intelligence, wherein nakapag-create daw tayo ng tinatawag natin na Turing test. So, this Turing test validates kung tao nga ba yung kausap or hindi. So, sabi nga, ito yung ginamit din ni Alan Turing, wherein he was able to distinguish ano ba yung code na meron yung Enigma na ginagamit during World War. Pero sabi nga, because of his work, parang ito yung pinaka naging starting point talaga natin ng concept regarding artificial intelligence. In 1956, sabi ko nga, it was John McCartney who coined the term artificial intelligence. And sabi nga, later that year, Alan Newell, J.C. Shaw, and Herbert Simon created Logic Theories, which is the first ever running AI software program. In 1967, we have Frank Rosenbelt, who built the Mark I perceptron. So the first computer based on a neural network that learned through trial and error. Just a year later, Morbin Minsky and Seymour Papert published a book titled Perceptrons, which becomes both the landmark work on neural networks and, at least for a while, an argument against future neural network research projects. In 1980s, we have the neural networks which use as a back propagation algorithm to train themselves become widely used in AI application. And then in 1995, Stuart Russell and Peter Nordvig then proceed to publish Artificial Intelligence, a Modern Approach, becoming one of the leading textbook for the study ng AI. Sabi nga, meron daw pong four potential goals or definitions when it comes to AI. Sabi nga, this is differentiated by human approach and ideal approach. So, yung human approach, sabi natin, systems that think like humans and systems that act like humans. Yung ideal approach, systems that think rationally and systems that act rationally. In 1997, IBM's Deep Blue, so yung Deep Blue, yung artificial intelligence na na-produce ng IBM, beat then world chess champion Garry Kasparov in a chess match and rematch. So, well-known po si Garry Kasparov with the field of chess. Pero, natalo siya ng isang AI. In 2011, IBM Watson, so another AI produced by IBM, beats champion Ken Jennings and Brad Luther at Jeopardy! In 2015, Baidu's Pinwa supercomputer uses a special kind of deep neural network called a convolutional neural network to identify and categorize image with a higher rate of accuracy than the average human. And then, lastly, in 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo program, powered by a deep neural network, beats Lee Sedol. So Lee Sedol is a world-known champion or a world champion Go for the game Go. So yung Go po, if you are aware of the series The Glory, yung black tile at white tile lang yung gamit. Tapos agawan lang sila ng base onto it. Hanggang mapuno na ng lahat yung board ng puti or maging lahat ng board ay itim. So it's very well known game in South Korea as well as in other East Asian countries. At sabi nga, natalo nga daw po yung world champion dito ng isa. So later, Google purchased DeepMind for a reported US dollars, which is 400. Ganun kalaki yung presyuhan, no? When it comes to AI. And I can still remember yung biruan namin dito na, di ba kapag naglalaro tayo ng mga games like for example Dota o kaya naman ay ML, Mobile Legends, di ba? Yung pag yung term na parang kang AI kasi parang, di ba pag AI mahina, weak. But then again, as time goes by, nagkakaroon na lang iba't ibang leveling yung AI na kung saan minsan mas magaling pa yung AI kaysa din sa totoo. So let's have common applications when it comes to artificial intelligence. So the first one is speech recognition. This is also called as automatic speech recognition or computer speech recognition or speech to text. Wherein sabi nga, yung sinasabi natin, natatranslate nila automatically into words. Madami na tayong mga applications na yan. Tulad ng sa mga devices tulad ni Siri o kaya naman ay si Hey Google sa Google or Google Assistant rather sa mga Android devices. No? So like for example, di ba dun sa mga TV nowadays kapag Android TV ang gamit ninyo, pagsasalita na lang kayo dun sa remote, kusa na siyang maghahanap doon sa it's either on Netflix or it's either in Prime Video or other streaming service or even in YouTube, automatically sila na yung maghahanap para doon sa hinahanap mong content. Then makita mo doon na yung sinasabi mo, nasusulat kagad siya or yung nasusulat siya into words doon sa screen. So ito yung sinasabi nating speech recognition, which is a common application of AI. The second one is yung tinatawag natin customer service. So sabi natin, yung customer service is kung saan imbes na tao ang sasagot pa sa iyo. It's more of an automated na lang yung makakausap mo. So this is very common, especially sa mga providers na meron tayo. Like for example, in PLDT. 'Di ba? Sa PLDT, hindi naman tao kagad ang kausap mo pag tumawag ka sa PLDT, 'di ba? Pag tawag mo sa PLDT, mapapansin mo naman yung boses doon, 'di ba? Hihingin sa iyo yung tawag dito telephone number, tatanong kung may existing account na, as well as ano yung code or yung PIN no para doon sa account. And saka ka pala makakapag-proceed doon sa questions regarding kung ang concern mo is about uh, slow internet, walang internet, o kaya naman ay about billing or add-ons. And kapag nasagot mo na yon or napindot mo na yon dun sa phone mo, saka ka pa lang talagang makakausap ng isang tao. Which is, itatransfer ka nila doon sa nararapat na channel base doon sa mga inputs mo doon sa call na yun. So that's already customer service. And again, it's a common application of AI. Then we also have yung computer vision na kung saan automatically na provide sa atin yung info tungkol doon sa bagay na yun. Like for example, ito common ito sa especially on to us. Yung ginagamit natin na Google Lens na kung saan yung mga pictures or like for example, hindi ka familiar doon sa bagay na yun. Pipicturean mo lang siya, lalabas na lahat ng information tungkol dito. Or nakaka-capture na kung ano ba ito. And sabi nga natin, and a good example of this as well, yung mga translation, gamit lang yung Google Lens, nakaka-translate mo na kagad yung mga wordings na hindi ka familiar. So that's very common when it comes to computer vision. Aside from it, yung mga sasakyan na tulad ng Tesla, hindi mo na kailangan na ikaw mismo mano-mano magdadrive. Meron na tong autopilot na equipment na kung saan kita na kaagad ng AI yung dinadaanan. So, alam niya kung saan yung tamang likuan, alam yung spaces, as well as yung pagtakbo on the road. So, ganon ka-powerful yung computer vision. Then we have recommendation engine. So, sabi ko nga, dun sa previous discussion, mapapansin natin ito na kung saan kapag nagsa-search tayo ng, for example, nag-search tayo sa Shopee ang tungkol sa sapatos, lahat ng advertisement tungkol sa sapatos ay ilalabas kapag nagpunta ka ng Facebook bigla. Aside from it, makita mo din kapag nag-type ka sa, for example, sa mga search engine, like for example, hinahanap mo is about uh, a movie, sila na yung nagpo-provide kagad or sila yung tatapos ng sentence mo onto it. So like for example, ang nasa isip mo is yung Walking Dead. Itatype mo lang yung walking, lalabas na doon yung mga recommended na uh, keywords. Like for example, malamang sa malamang unang-unang lalabas doon yung Walking Dead. Kasi it's a very well-known TV show. And then, last of the common application of artificial intelligence is the automated stock trading. Sabi nga, this is designed to optimize stock portfolios. AI-driven high-frequency trading platforms make thousands or even millions of trades per day without human intervention. Na kung saan yung AI program na siya para to identify ano ba yung mataas yung sales, ano ba yung mababa yung sales, ano ba yung risky na tayaan or pag-investan. At automatically, sila na yung nag invest. Hindi mo na kailangan pang pakialaman yung pag sa stock trading, yung AI na mismo ang gagawa nito para sa. Now let's go to the last part for this discussion regarding man versus machine. So they have here understanding the perils of AI. So sabi nga, this is an article written by Shamli Parkash in 2017 na kung saan, sabi nga natin, ang laki ng tulong sa atin ng AI. Sobra-sobra. Especially nga for doing, siguro in your aspect, for doing your school paperworks, di ba? Naalala ko yung kapatid ko kasi search na lang daw sa chat GPT, alam niya na yung sagot. Makakapag-create na siya ng essays or whatnot. But then again, meron din naman itong mga perils or yung mga possible na kapahamakan na maidulot sa tao. So, sabi nga daw po, there are four perils when it comes to artificial intelligence. Those are large-scale unemployment, singularity, machine consciousness, and oligarchy. So, dun muna tayo sa large-scale unemployment. Sabi nga, this is probably the most tangible and widely acknowledged of all the risks highlighted in the context of AI. Kasi nga naman, huwag na tayong lumayo. Tulad nga nung mga lagi ko naging example, yung Gardenia. Though, sabi ng iba, wala naman daw AI yun. But the automation itself has a factor when it comes to the process doon sa bakery na yun. And kung iisipin mo nga naman, nawawala na ng trabaho yung mga tao because of this. And huwag na pala tayo lumayo. Yung example ko na lang kanina, recently nagkaroon ng Hollywood strike for actors kasi nga naman, ang nirereklamo nila is that pinapalitan na yung mga tao or yung mga human actor ng mga AI. So AI na lang yung ginagamit para doon sa mga acting na dapat sila yung gagawa. So I can still remember one interview said by Nicolas Cage na yes, nagkaroon sila ng shooting pero hindi niya maalala na meron siyang ginawang ganon. And uh, apparently, yung doon sa palabas na, ano yun, Superman ba yun? Or Justice League rather. Justice League nga. Or sorry for that. The Flash. Sorry. Yung movie na The Flash, eh, nagkaroon siya ng cameo. Yes, nagkaroon siyang shoot, pero parang pictures lang yata ang ginawa onto it. Pero nagkaroon siya ng actions doon sa full movie, pero wala daw siyang ginawa. So most likely, AI nga daw po ang ginamit doon sa film na yun. So, yun yung sinasabi natin. Nawawala na ng trabaho yung mga tao because of AI. Then we have singularity. Sabi nga, singularity refers to the point in human civilization when artificial intelligence reach a tipping point beyond it can evolves into a super intelligence that surpasses human cognitive powers, thereby potentially posing a threat to human existence as we know it today. So sabi nga natin, yung machines kasi, kahit anong mangyari, mas matalino pa din ang tao. Pero yung sinasabi nating singularity is umabot na dun sa point na mas matalino na ang machines compare sa tao. Kasi sabi nga natin, yung tao, kaya na mag-understand. Pero yung machines, kung ano lang yung program sa kanila, yun lang yung kaya nilang gawin. Like for example, yung alphabet. Yung alphabet, kahit pagbalik-balik ta rin natin, alam natin kung paano natin siya i-arrange. Pero yung machines, hindi. Kung ano lang yung program sa kanila, yun lang yung kaya nilang gawin. Diba? So, ang isa nga daw pong sa perils na binibigyang pansin is that paano kapag umabot na dun sa point na mas matalino na yung machines compared dun sa tao. Yung para mapapaisip na sila na bakit nga ba sila yung nagtatrabaho para sa tao? Like that question. Diba? So, ito yung isa sa pinibigyang pansin din na baka kinakatakot din natin na baka maging possible na pahamakan ng tao because of AI. Yung sumunod naman is yung machine consciousness. Sabi nga, ang tao nakakaramdam to ng emosyon at may feelings. Ito. So, isa sa mga common emotions nga natin is yung napapagod tayo. In every day, di ba sa mga ginagawa natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng exhaustion. Pero ang machines, wala naman silang feelings, di ba? Pero paano nga kapag nagkaroon na sila ng consciousness or nagkaroon na nga sila ng emotions and feelings? So, mas lalo pa natin mapakita doon yung bakit nga ba sila nagtatrabaho para sa tao. Mas lalo mabibuild up sa kanila yon. So, baka nga mag-revolt yung mga machines against, specifically AI against human beings. Na kumbaga, imbes na sila yung magtrabaho para sa atin, tayo ang magtrabaho para sa mga machines or sa AI. And lastly, among the perils is yung oligarchy. So, yung sa kanina kasi is man versus machine. Talaga yung makita natin. No? Pero on this one naman, it's more of a man versus man. Because sabi nga, yung oligarchy is the power of control. Who's in control? Kasi nga naman, like in every aspect, sabi nga natin, money turn the world or makes the world go round. Diba? So, ibig sabihin lang nun, kung sino nga naman kasi yung may pera, sila yung makakapag-conduct ng research. At kung sino yung makakapag-conduct ng research, sila yung mas makakapag-advance ng technology with AI na meron sila. Na baka mas lalo nilang gamitin yon to harness for their own benefits na makapekto naman yun sa ibang tao. Na ang magsasuffer ay ibang tao. So, mga sila mas lalong pataas or mas economically and financially, mas pataas sila. Tapos, pababa naman lalo yung ibang tao because of their control when it comes to artificial intelligence. So, this would be my last slide for discussion regarding man versus machine. I hope madami tayo natutunan regarding this lesson at ma-apply natin yung mga insights na nakuha natin on this topic. So, thank you for listening.